Want let me tear down the setup and go home? Alright. This is a story a few years old back from when I worked as an outside sales agent at company that did government phones. To preface this, I live in Oklahoma. And if you've never been in Oklahoma, we have what's known as tornado season. With tornadoes come high winds. And my daily setup involved setting up a canopy tent outside. As the name of my role implies, we tie it down upon setup and secure it, but there realistically isn't much we're able to do for them in high winds. The company always said don't stay outside when the winds pick up, as they would rather not have to pay for new tents every week. My supervisor, though, she always said to stay out and ignore what her bosses would say on the morning Zoom calls about tearing down. This compliance takes place over the course of a few weeks, but for the sake of speed I'll skip a few things. The wind was high one day. It was about 50 miles per hour, and my setup for the day was one where there wasn't much around to secure it to. I always managed to do it just fine. But when high winds happened, the legs were going to snap, and I wasn't even allowed to set at half height. I said winds were picking up and I shouldn't be keeping the tent up so it wouldn't break. Boss said I wasn't allowed to. So over the course of about 2-3 weeks I let 10 or 12 tents break, and it got to the point the bosses had definitely notified. I cost the company easily $1,000 or $2,000 before my supervisor was finally forced to let us tear down in high winds. I had a construction company owner refuse to let our teams come in from the field when tornadoes were being announced. So we all took shelter in the tool shed made of concrete until the tornado went by. We go to the office and it was completely gone. Leveled to the ground. The owner and 2 secretaries barely made it out alive. The bathroom stall divider saved their lives. After we rebuilt the building with a tornado shelter, he made sure to pay close attention to the weather, and if we are saying it's unsafe, it was unsafe. Miss that guy. The tents. Flying pieces can hurt or even kill people. We had a tornado tear through the NYS Fair, liberating a lot of tents and canopies and things that were not designed to be out in that kind of wind, and 3 people died. They would not be happy paying your medical bills, but fathom what might have happened if someone walking down the street got taken out. The cost of the tents would be insignificant. Was your boss new to Oklahoma or something? Makes me wonder if your boss was in on a little malicious compliance of their own. Fellow Oklahoman here. When I worked at Dick's a few years ago, we had a real mean storm cell roll through and obliterate our outdoor tent sail that was held down with huge metal supports. The whole crew spent the next week salvaging what we could and cleaning up the rest. It's always funny when companies' bosses think the weather will respect their property. Oklahoma is known as the Sooner State, because you sooner want to be somewhere else. Your boss cost the company easily $1,000 or $2,000 before my supervisor was finally forced to let us tear down in high winds. What area of Oklahoma? I definitely remember making comments about a broken tent. And that's what they get in this wind. While in Norman. Was your supervisor fired or demoted? Lol. I hope you reported her forcing you to go against company policy. You didn't cost the company any money. Your idiot boss did. We live just south in Texas. My wife had us put a tent gazebo in the backyard, and I used mobile home stakes and concrete to anchor the gazebo to the ground. But straight-line winds picked it up anyway, sucking those concrete stumps right out of the ground and tossing the kite about 30 yards down the field. If you had a tent lift up and end up being pulled across a parking lot, that tent could cause hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. You did not cost the company, they did. Correction. You didn't cost the company anything. Your supervisor did. Was she only following orders, or should she be fired for massive stupidity?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.